Asterisk laughs low and slow, eyes glinting with mischief times. You know what's funny? People hate goodbyes. They cling to what's breaking, smile through the cracks, pretend everything's fine just to avoid the truth staring right back at them. The truth that some things aren't meant to last. Some doors were never supposed to stay open. When life decides it's done with a chapter, it doesn't ask for your opinion. It just ends it. Quietly, brutally, perfectly. And you stand there, confused, angry, scared, calling it unfair when really it's just balance. It's that unseen hand saying, "That's enough now. Time to let go." Asterisk laughs under his breath, pacing slowly times. You see, people, they love to hold on. To things, to people, to moments that already slipped through their fingers a long time ago. They grip tighter, thinking maybe, just maybe, the past will change its mind and come crawling back. But it doesn't. It never does. Because the truth is, the world doesn't. Stop moving just because you're not ready to let go. It doesn't care about your comfort, your nostalgia, or your excuses. It just keeps spinning, dragging you forward whether you like it or not. Acceptance. Now, that's the hard part. Everyone wants control. They want to decide who stays, what lasts, and when things should end. But life doesn't hand out control, it hands out lessons. Sometimes brutal, sometimes silent, but always necessary. And still, we fight it. We scratch and scream against change, like a child refusing to leave a burning house. That's what makes people miserable. They think holding on is strength, but in reality, it's the reason they keep breaking the same way over and over again. Asterisk laughs again, softly this times. Acceptance isn't about giving up. Oh no, it's about seeing things as they are, not as you times wish times they were. It's about staring reality in the face, ugly, unfair, unfiltered, and saying, all right, this is what it is. Most people can't do that. They'd rather drown in denial because denial feels safer than truth. Truth burns. It leaves scars. But those scars, they mean you've seen something real. You ever notice how people rewrite their pain? They twist it into stories where they're always the victim or the hero, depending on what helps them sleep at night. That's because facing the truth means facing themselves. And that's the one thing people run from more than anything themselves. Acceptance demands honesty. Brutal, uncomfortable, naked honesty. It strips away the illusions you hide behind, and once that happens, there's nowhere left to run. People think acceptance means sitting quietly and nodding through suffering. Asterisk smirks times. No. It means you stop pretending. You stop forcing life to fit the picture in your head. It's realizing that some people were only meant to be lessons, not lifetimes. That some moments are supposed to hurt because pain wakes you up. And when you finally stop fighting it, when you stop chasing ghosts and start facing the mirror, you find something you didn't expect. Peace. Not the kind you fake for others, but the kind that sits deep inside your bones, whispering that you don't have to fight anymore. The problem is, people are addicted to control. They love the illusion of it. They say, I can fix it. I can make them stay. I can change the outcome. Asterisk chuckles darkly times. No, you can't. You never could. Control is the prettiest lie ever told. The more you try to hold the universe in your hands, the more it slips through your fingers. Acceptance is the opposite. It's the art of loosening your grip, of saying, if it's meant for me, it'll stay. If not, it's already gone. That's not weakness. That's freedom. But freedom It scares people. Because when you accept what is, you lose the comfort of blaming someone else. You can't point fingers at fate or cry about what could have been. You have to live with the truth that everything is exactly where it's supposed to be, even if it's not where you want it to be, and that terrifies them. There's a strange kind of peace in watching something end and not flinch. When you can smile at the ashes instead of crying for the fire, that's when you know you've changed. Acceptance doesn't mean you don't feel the pain. It means you don't let the pain own you. You let it pass through, burn what it needs to burn, and then you walk out of it lighter. People call that coldness. I call it evolution. The another asterisk laughs lowly, almost to himself times. Everyone's searching for happiness, but they skip the part where they have to let go first. They want new beginnings without endings. They want healing without loss. But you can't build a new life with hands full of old debris. Acceptance clears the wreckage. It says, this is gone. This is over. Now what? And most people can't handle that question because it forces them to start again. And starting again means admitting that something ended. The funny thing is, once you truly accept, you stop fearing endings altogether. You stop begging for people to stay. Stop chasing what's not chasing you. You realize everything that left you was supposed to, and everything that stayed was meant to. The chaos stops feeling like punishment. It starts feeling like design. You begin to see the beauty in the mess, the meaning in the loss, the lesson in the silence. And that's when you finally understand. Acceptance isn't surrender, it's awakening. It's not saying, I give up. It's saying, I see now. Because once you see, you can't unsee. Once you understand that not everything broken needs fixing, that not every ending is a tragedy, you stop bleeding for things that don't deserve your blood. And maybe then, just maybe, you realize the weight you've been carrying was never yours to hold in the first place. Asterisk laughs softly, almost whispering to himself times, you know what's strange? Everyone wants to grow, but nobody wants to change. They say they want to evolve, to be better, to move on, but the moment life starts taking away what's comfortable, they panic. They scream. They cling to the old chapter like it's a lifeline, not realizing it's the very thing drowning them. Growth isn't this shiny, pretty thing people talk about. It's messy. It's violent. It tears through your habits, your beliefs, your illusions. It doesn't ask for permission. It just comes. And it takes. People love to romanticize growth like it's some peaceful walk into the sunrise. Asterisk snickers times, no. It's more like walking barefoot through broken glass, smiling while everything inside you wants to scream. Because growth requires one thing. Most people are terrified of closure. And closure, my friend, isn't about forgetting. It's about facing what you didn't want to see, saying what you never wanted to admit, and walking away without needing an apology that will never come. That's the part nobody wants to talk about. See, people crave progress, but they're addicted to pain. They hold on to their suffering because it's familiar. It gives them identity. They say, I want to heal. But deep down they whisper, not yet. I'm not ready to let go. Growth doesn't wait for your readiness. It slams the door shut and tells you, move. And when that happens, you either adapt or you decay. Asterisk laughs under his breath times. You can't grow while still holding hands with your past. You can't expect new beginnings when you're still reading the same old page, hoping the words will change this time. Closure means turning the page, even when it still smells like the person you lost, even when the ink is still wet from your tears. It's about realizing that dragging your past into your future doesn't make you loyal. It makes you stuck. Most people confuse comfort with peace. They stay in the same patterns, same relationships, same dead routines, just because it's what they know. They call it stability, but it's really fear wearing a disguise. Growth demands that you burn the comfort zone to the ground. It doesn't care how cozy you were. It looks you in the eye and says, if you want more, you have to lose this. And that's when people start shaking. Because letting go of what feels safe is like stepping into the dark without a flashlight. But that's exactly where transformation begins. When you finally understand that closure isn't cruelty, you stop begging for explanations. You stop chasing people who've already walked away. You stop rereading old conversations, trying to find meaning in words that were never meant to save you. Growth is the moment you stop needing validation from the very thing that broke you. It's not about revenge. It's not about pretending you don't care. It's about realizing you don't need what once defined you. Asterisk laughs low, leans in slightly times. Funny thing is, people always ask, why did this happen to me? As if the world owes them a gentle explanation. But growth doesn't speak politely. It teaches through silence, through loss, through chaos. It rips apart your comfort just to show you what you're capable of living without. You call it destruction, but it's just transformation wearing its war paint. You ever notice how flowers grow? They push through dirt, through darkness, through layers of things that tried to bury them. That's growth. It's not glamorous, it's survival dressed as evolution. And closure? That's the dirt itself. The weight that forces you to fight upward, to reach for light you haven't seen yet. Without closure, there's no push. Without endings, there's no rise. Most people think closure means someone coming back to say sorry. No, that's just fantasy. Real closure is when you stop needing to hear it. When you stop checking if they noticed your silence. When you stop wishing things went differently. That's when growth takes root, not in the smiles, not in the pretending, but in the moment you quietly decide, I deserve better than this. And you walk away without looking back. Asterisk laughs again, softly but sharp times. People love to talk about moving on, but they never mention the emptiness that follows, that hollow space where something used to be. That's the price of growth. It leaves you bare, stripped, exposed, but it also makes room for peace, for purpose, for something real. The void isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's what comes before you rebuild. But no one tells you that closure doesn't always come clean. Sometimes it's ugly. Sometimes it's a goodbye left unsaid, a lesson learned too late, a silence that echoes louder than any goodbye ever could. Growth is learning to live with that silence, to let it teach you instead of haunt you, to stop reopening wounds just to prove they still hurt. Because when you do that, when you stop bleeding for attention, you finally understand that closure was never about them. It was always about you. Asterisk laughs quietly, eyes glinting times. Growth requires closure because without it, you're just recycling pain. Dressing up your wounds and calling it love. You can't heal in the same place that hurt you, no matter how much you want to believe you can. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is close the book, even if you never got to finish the story. Because maybe, just maybe, it wasn't meant to end the way you wanted. Maybe it ended exactly how it had to. Asterisk laughs softly, the sound lingering like an echo in an empty room times. You know what really fascinates me? The way people mistake holding on for strength. They think clutching the pieces of something broken makes them brave. That dragging the weight of what's gone somehow means they care more, love deeper, fight harder. But really, it's just fear, wearing armor. Fear of being alone. Fear of starting again. Fear of not knowing who. They are without the things that already left them. Letting go, that's times real strength. Because it doesn't come with applause. It doesn't come with validation or understanding. It comes with silence. The kind of silence that crawls under your skin, whispers in your ear, and tells you it's time to stop pretending. People don't like that silence. It forces them to face the truth. And the truth is, some things are already gone, long before we're willing to admit it. Asterisk laughs under his breath times. You ever see someone trying to revive a ghost? Not literally, of course, but emotionally. They keep replaying the same moments, the same conversations, hoping they'll sound different this time. They hold on to memories like lifeboats, refusing to realize the ship has already sunk. That's not strength. It's desperation in disguise. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about finally accepting that what's broken isn't yours to fix anymore. People love control. They crave it. They want to dictate how life unfolds, who stays, who leaves, what lasts forever. But letting go takes that control and shatters it right in front of you. It says, you can't make people love you. You can't force things to stay. You can't rewrite the ending. And that's what makes it powerful, because it strips you of illusion. When you finally release what's not meant for you, you stop living in delusion and start breathing in reality. Asterisk laughs a little louder, eyes flickering with amusement times. The funny part? Everyone says they want peace, but they keep fighting battles that ended a long time ago. They rehearse the same pain, feed the same anger, chase the same answers from people who never cared to give them. Letting go is terrifying because it means you stop being a victim of your own story. It means you stop using the past as a reason to stay broken. Most people would rather keep bleeding than face that kind of responsibility. Strength isn't in the grip. It's in the release. It's standing in front of what you once loved and saying, I'll survive without it. That's not weakness. That's courage. Because it's easy to cling to what's familiar, even if it's killing you. It's harder to walk away from something that once made you feel alive. But that's what strength really looks like, not staying because it's easy, but leaving because it's right. Letting go hurts because it kills your illusions. You realize not everyone you love will love you back. Not every dream you chase will come true. Not every chapter gets closure. Sometimes life ends things mid-sentence, without warning, without reason. And all you can do is take a deep breath and not chase after what's gone. That's where real power lives, in restraint, not resistance. People love to talk about being strong, but strength isn't loud. It doesn't scream or demand attention. It's quiet. It's the person who deletes the message they'll never send. The one who doesn't show up where they're not wanted. The one who learns to smile while letting go of everything that once defined them. It's invisible strength, the kind that doesn't seek recognition, just freedom. Asterisk laughs quietly, eyes distant times. Letting go doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you care enough for yourself to stop suffering. It's realizing that holding on to something that's hurting you isn't loyalty, it's self-destruction. It's the art of choosing peace over pride, healing over history. Most people don't have the guts for that kind of choice. They'd rather carry their pain like a badge, a reminder of how much they've endured. But endurance isn't the same as growth. Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is simply stop. You see, when you let go, the world doesn't fall apart, it rearranges. Everything you lose makes space for something you couldn't have seen while your hands were full. But the catch is, you won't see it right away. You'll only feel the emptiness first, the absence, the silence. That's the test. Most people run back to what hurt them, just to escape that feeling. But if you can stand in that silence long enough, if you can sit with the emptiness without filling it with more chaos, you start to rebuild differently. Asterisk laughs again. Softly but darkly times. People think strength is about winning, but it's not. It's about surrendering with dignity. It's about walking away from what you wanted most and not begging for it to come back. It's about knowing that not everything you lose is a tragedy. Some things are just lessons disguised as pain. And when you let go, you start to see the pattern. You realize everything that left you was making room for something better, something truer, something that doesn't demand you to suffer to keep it. The world doesn't reward those who cling. It rewards those who learn, those who evolve, those who dare to open their hands and trust that what's meant for them won't need to be chased. Letting go isn't an act of giving up, it's an act of growing up. Because you can't move forward with your fists still clenched. You have to loosen your grip, take the hit, feel the loss, and keep walking. That's what real strength looks like. It's quiet, it's painful, and it doesn't need anyone's approval. Asterisk laughs softly, eyes narrowing with amusement times. You ever notice how people always want things when they want them? They pray, they beg, they scream to the sky, demanding answers like spoiled children. Why not now, they say. Why not me? They want everything to happen on their schedule, their terms. But life doesn't dance to your tune. It's not a servant, it's a teacher. And the lesson is, this timing isn't yours to control. Asterisk laughs again. Quietly times. There's something almost poetic about it. People mistake delay for denial. They think because it hasn't happened yet, it never will. They don't see that sometimes what they're asking for would destroy them if they got it too soon. Divine timing. It's like an invisible thread, pulling you through moments you don't understand, only to reveal later why the waiting was necessary. But of course, humans hate waiting. They call it suffering. They call it unfair. When in truth, it's protection wearing a mask. People are obsessed with control. They want to plan every breath, predict every outcome, schedule every miracle. Asterisk smirks, slightly times. But life, oh life, laughs at plans. It watches you make them, nods politely, and then tears them apart just to show you who's really in charge. And every time it happens, people panic. They think they've failed. They think they've been punished. But sometimes, what looks like rejection is just redirection. The delay isn't the denial, it's the detour that saves you from the wrong road. You ever wonder why some things come easy, and others, no matter how hard you fight, just won't move? That's not coincidence. That's timing. That's something greater saying, not yet. But people don't want to hear not yet. They'd rather force open doors that were never locked for them. They chase after what's running away, cry over what's not meant to stay. And when life says no, they scream louder, as if noise can change destiny. Asterisk laughs under his breath, shaking his head times. You know what's funny? When people finally get what they once begged for, half the time they're not even ready for it. They wanted the reward, but not the responsibility. They prayed for the crown, but forgot it comes with the weight. Divine timing gives you what you need times when times you're ready, not when you think you deserve it. And that's what drives people mad. They can't stand not being in control of the clock. But that's the beauty of it, the unpredictability. If you knew everything in advance, there'd be no growth, no courage, no faith, just routine. And routine is the slowest kind of death. Life doesn't want you comfortable, it wants you awake. It'll make you wait, it'll make you lose. It'll make you question everything, until one day you realize every delay was actually preparation. Every no was a test of trust. Every loss was clearing the path for what was always meant to be yours. Asterisk laughs darkly, voice lowering times. People think faith means believing everything will be perfect. It doesn't. It means believing even when everything looks like hell. It means standing in the middle of chaos and saying, I still trust this. That's divine timing, not magic, not luck, not coincidence. It's order disguised as madness. You think you're falling apart, but really, you're being rearranged. You ever notice how storms don't ask permission before they arrive? They just come. They destroy, they flood, they terrify. But once they're done, everything's cleaner. The air's lighter. The noise is gone. That's what divine timing does. It wrecks the old to make room for the real. And while you're there, sitting in the ruins, you're cursing the storm, not realizing it just gave you back your sky. People call it bad luck when something doesn't work out. They say, I tried so hard and it still failed. But sometimes that failure is the kindest thing life could give you. Because what if success came too early? What if love arrived before you knew how to keep it? What if your dream came true before you could handle the pressure that comes with it? You'd break. You'd ruin the very thing you prayed for. So instead, life says, wait. And you call it pain, but it's mercy. Asterisk laughs softly, eyes glinting with something sharp. Times. The irony is, people believe in divine power, but only when it agrees with them. The moment life says, not yet, they stop believing. They start cursing the very thing that's saving them from themselves. Timing isn't punishment. It's protection. It's precision. It's that unseen hand saying, you're not late, you're being aligned. But people can't see alignment when they're busy counting clocks. Waiting drives people insane because waiting feels powerless. But patience isn't weakness, it's quiet strength. It's the art of standing still while everything inside you screams to move. That's not easy. That's not passive. That's mastery. Because when you can wait without losing your mind, without forcing the wrong things, you finally start to understand how the game is played. Asterisk laughs low, leaning forward slightly times. The truth is, divine timing isn't always gentle. It doesn't come wrapped in comfort. It tests you. It strips you. It makes you question everything you thought you knew. It delays what you crave until you're strong enough to carry it. It closes doors to make sure you stop knocking on the wrong ones. And when the right moment comes, it doesn't whisper, it roars. Everything falls into place, not because you chased it, but because you finally stopped fighting the clock. And maybe that's the secret. Real strength isn't in forcing things to happen. It's in having the patience to let them. Because time, as cruel as it seems, always knows what it's doing. It's never early, never late, always exact. And when it moves perfectly, even if you don't see it yet. Asterisk laughs quietly, voice dragging like smoke through the air, times pain. People run from it like it's the devil himself. They hide, they numb, they distract. They'll do anything times just to avoid feeling it. But here's the trick no one wants to admit. Pain isn't the enemy, it's the messenger, the mirror, the wake-up call that shows you exactly what needs to change. Without it, you'd stay asleep, trapped in the same patterns, clinging to the same ghosts, pretending everything's fine when it's not. Asterisk laughs again, soft and sharp times. You ever notice how people only learn when it hurts? They don't change when things are easy. No, they change when everything falls apart, when the rug gets pulled from under them, when the person they trusted most walks away, when the dream they built burns to ash. That's when transformation starts, right there in the ruins. Because pain strips away your illusions. It forces you to see what's real, what's left when everything else is gone. Pain doesn't break you. It reveals you. It shows you the truth about who you are when there's nothing left to protect you. People think strength comes from smiles and confidence, but real strength is born in silence. In the nights you can't sleep, when the world feels too heavy and you still get up anyway. That's transformation. Not the pretty kind. Not the kind they write in self-help books. The raw kind. The kind that burns your old self to make space for something new. Asterisk laughs under his breath, eyes glinting with irony times. Everyone wants to grow, but nobody wants to suffer. They say they want to evolve, but they pray for comfort. Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Comfort keeps you blind. Pain opens your eyes. It's the teacher no one asks for, but everyone needs. And the lesson? Simple. You don't become who you're meant to be by avoiding what hurts you. Become it by surviving it. You ever watch how people react when life gets hard? Some collapse, some fight, some laugh through the chaos just to stay sane. Pain pushes you to your edge, then whispers, "Now, who are you?" Most people don't like the answer. They find out they've been pretending, living as a version of themselves shaped by fear and approval. Pain tears that version apart. It forces rebirth. But rebirth doesn't come easy. It comes through fire. Asterisk laughs softly, a hint of madness dancing in his tone times. Funny thing about pain, it's honest. Brutally, unapologetically honest. It doesn't lie to make you feel better. It doesn't sugarcoat the truth. It just shows you exactly where the wound is. People think ignoring it makes it go away, but all it does is let it rot. Healing starts when you stop running and finally look the pain in the eye. When you stop asking, "Why me?" and start asking, "What is this trying to teach me?" That's when things start shifting. Pain doesn't just break hearts, it rebuilds them differently, stronger, smarter, sharper. You stop needing validation. You stop settling. You stop pretending that everything has to make sense. You learn to sit in the uncertainty, the discomfort, the emptiness. And you realize pain isn't punishment, it's preparation. Every heartbreak, every failure, every loss, it's shaping you, sanding down your edges, preparing you for something your old self couldn't handle. Asterisk laughs again, eyes flicking upward times. The world teaches you to fear pain, to medicate it, suppress it, drown it in noise. But that's why people never grow. Because every time they run from pain, they run from the truth. They never stay long enough in the dark to find the light hiding there. Pain is where perspective is born. You don't learn empathy, resilience, or courage in comfort. You learn it in chaos, in the moments that tear you apart and force you to rebuild differently. You ever notice how people only appreciate peace after they've been broken? That's because pain gives contrast. It teaches value. You can't understand joy unless you've tasted sorrow. You can't recognize real love unless you've been through the kind that destroys you. You can't appreciate stability unless you've lived through storms. Pain makes you see clearly. It strips away what doesn't matter so you can finally focus on what does. Asterisk laughs low, almost to himself times pain signals transformation because it's the only thing that reaches deep enough to shake your soul awake. It burns away what's fake. It exposes what's fragile. It humbles you. It teaches you that you're not invincible, but you're not helpless either. It's the space between who you were and who you're becoming, the breaking point that separates illusion from truth. And if you're brave enough to walk through it, not run, not hide, but walk through it, you come out different, not softer, not colder, just real. Pain has purpose. It doesn't visit without reason. It's the universe's way of saying, this version of you is done. People resist that message because it feels cruel, but cruelty is often the disguise of clarity. Without pain, you'd stay where you don't belong. You'd keep loving what's killing you. You'd keep chasing what's beneath you. Pain is what finally makes you stop. It's the push that forces you out of what's over and into what's next. Asterisk laughs softly, looking away for a moment times. Everyone wants transformation, but no one wants to burn for it. Pain is the fire. It destroys what's false, and from those ashes, something unrecognizable starts to rise. That's how you evolve, not through comfort, but through confrontation. Through feeling everything you tried to avoid. Through learning that the hurt isn't the end, it's the beginning of who you really are. Because sometimes, the only way to wake up is to hurt first.